Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to introduce our first guest speaker, Professor Dr. Khalid Mahmood. Professor Dr. Khalid Mahmood is currently working as a professor, Department of Information Management, University of Punjab, and Dean, Faculty of Economics and Management Sciences, University of Punjab. Professor Dr. Khalid Mahmood is an ambitious, energetic, and renowned personality of library and information science in Pakistan and overseas. He has completed his HEC-sponsored postdoctoral research at the Department of Information Studies, Graduate School of Education and Information Studies, University of California, Los Angeles, USA in 2010 and 11. And he did his master in 1989 and PhD in 2004 from the Punjab University. He also completed master in Islamic Studies and Bachelor of Law from the same university, and he has completed postgraduate diploma in library management from the Netherlands in 1996. He joined the Department of Library Information Science, University of Punjab in 1993 as a lecturer, and he selected as associate professor in 2004, and later he joined the professor of library and information science. He served as a chairman of department from 2006 to 9. The department during his time achieved remarkable progress under his dynamic leadership. And Saudi Arabia in 2013 to 16. More than leader of well-known research journal, is the member of many editorial board of various relevant journals. So he has attended more than 200 research workshops, seminars as a guest speaker, and many of the travel grants locally and foreign. I would like to invite Professor Khalid Mahmood to please start his talk on the literature review in research proposal, which is very much important because many of our PhD and scholars, they have joined us from Bahauddin Zakariya University, from the Punjab University, and more than 25 universities, professors, scholars, and PhD, masters, and BSc students, they have joined us through Zoom and Facebook Live. So over to Professor Dr. Khalid Mahmood.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, Professor Kamran and Professor Imran and Professor Mansoor Akbar Kundi Saab for inviting me to present my presentation or my ideas to the august body of students and teachers at BZU Multan. So let me start my presentation. So I'm going to share my screen with you. There is a message, Dr. Kamran, host disabled participant screen sharing. So if you please allow me to share my screen.
Yes, sir. Now you can share your screen.
Okay. So we have to write literature review as an important part of a research proposal. Even we have to do this work before writing the actual proposal. So I'm going to share with you what are the components of the literature review, specifically when we want to write it for a research proposal. So first of all, here is my introduction. So Dr. Kamran has beautifully introduced me, rather a detailed introduction he has given. Then the acknowledgement. So everything I'm going to share with you, I have taken from the websites, from books, from presentations of others. So in the beginning, I want to thank all of them. So normally in the presentations, we do not cite the books and other things. So in the beginning, it is better to acknowledge all the authors and seniors who have given us the important knowledge. So first of all, I should minimize this. Okay. So what is literature review? So literature review is always a body of text that aims to review the critical points of current knowledge. So in a piece of research, we always have to bring the previous knowledge before us, and the research is actually the contribution or the continuation of the existing knowledge. So in a research proposal, we have to do a literature review. I want to share with you my observation during my stay in USA. So in USA, most of you have seen that they write a PhD or doctoral dissertation of about 100 or 120 pages, not more than that. But I have seen there in USA research proposals of 250 pages, a proposal of more than 300 pages. So my question was there from my supervisors or other professionals there, that why your students write a big size of a proposal. So they showed me some of the proposals. So all those proposals were full of literature review. So they do a comprehensive literature review to write a research proposal. So even the bigger than the actual doctoral dissertation. So literature review is a review of the previous literature. So we have to bring some points before us before starting our work. So why do we need a literature review in a research proposal? So there are many reasons. For example, we want to define and delimit our problem. So we want to place the study in historical perspective. So we want to avoid unintentional and unnecessary replication of the study. Then we want to select promising methods and measures to do our work. And we want to develop our research hypothesis for our study. So for all these purposes, we need to do a literature review comprehensively. So what is the literature? So in research, all kinds of literature we need for the purpose of review. So these are some examples of the literature. So there are many kinds: books, journals, conference papers, theses, bibliographies, maps, internet, indexing, abstracting, databases, even multimedia, audiovisual material, CDs, DVDs, or any other forms of electronic recording or reporting. So we need government reports, magazines, newspapers, grey literature. So grey literature here means the literature which is not available from the regular or from the formal publishers or literature producing agencies. So for example, pamphlets or posters or something like that. So even we need interviews and sometimes unpublished reports or unpublished research. So these all are the kinds of literature for the purpose of literature review. So there are steps in literature review. So first of all, we have to search and find the literature. Then we have to evaluate that literature. Then we will read those literature pieces critically. Then we will analyze the literature for the purpose of review. And then we will synthesize our analyzed pieces of literature. And at the end, we will write and present our literature review in the form of a section in the proposal. So the first step is searching and finding literature. So there are three levels of information. regarding the literature. So first level is bibliographic information. So here bibliographic information means only the index information or the most important information of a reading of an item. For example, the name of the author, the title, the name of the journal, volume, issue, or the month or year of the journal, and pages. And the next level is the abstract. And you all know that abstract is a brief or is a summary of that document, and another level is the full text of the document. So in these days there are databases, so from which we can get bibliographic information as well as abstract of the document, and in the end we can get the full text of the information. So in the printed form we can contact the libraries for full text of information, and nowadays in the form of electronic books or electronic journals we can contact the online databases provided by Higher Education Commission or our university libraries, or there are many free websites which are providing the full text of the articles and books. So there are formal and informal sources of literature. So libraries, so databases are formal, and informal sources include the experts or your colleagues or the unknown or non-formal websites, so which provide or who provide the literature to you. So there are two types of literature, print and online. So for print you have to go to a library, and for online you will have to go to the internet or a database. So the next step is evaluating the literature. So we normally evaluate literature for two purposes. So the first purpose is the evaluation for relevance. So the literature I have selected, or I have found out through my search. So I have to evaluate that literature with the relevance to my need or to my objective. So for relevance, we will have to see the index of a book, chapter or section headings of a book, then abstract of an article. So by reading an abstract, we can decide that we need the full text or not. So we can read introduction and conclusion sections of the articles, or we can see the references or bibliography section of the article or book. So looking at all these areas of a book, we can decide that the full text is relevant to our need or not. So another point in evaluation is for reliability. So you all know that nowadays, and specifically after the emergence of social media, there is a lot of disinformation or misinformation. So there is a lot of unreliable information. So we have to see also whether the literature is reliable or not. So we have to see the audience for which the book or article has been written. So the authority means who is the author, or who is the publishing body, or who is the organizing body of the conference, for example. So, and there are many reputed publishers, and there are many dubious publishers in the world. So we have also have to see the bias in the book. So after some experience, we can easily identify the element of bias in a book or article. The next point is currency. So we have to see the information is current, information is up to date, or the information is old one. And then we have to see the scope of the information or scope of the book. So for which purpose they have written that book, or for whom they have written that book. So the cover scope means coverage actually. So what the book or article has covered regarding that topic. So this is the evaluation criteria for literature. The next step is the reading, and here it is not a normal or usual reading. So we have to read the literature critically. So what is critical reading? So here is the definition: an active approach to reading that involves an in-depth examination of the text. Memorization and understanding of the text is achieved. Additionally, the text is broken down into its components and examined critically in order to achieve a meaningful understanding of the material. So it is not a usual reading, it is the complete examination, in-depth examination of the text. So we have to make our understanding after reading, and then we are able to, or we become able to give our feedback or give our reflection on that literature. So here are the techniques of critical reading. So the first step is previewing. It is an overview of the reading. Then we take notes. So we read the text word to word, and then we take notes, and then we do our critical reading. So it means we read the document at least 2 times. Then we are able to summarize the document, and at the end we are able to give our critical response to that reading. So the definition is good or bad, the definition is relevant or not, the date of any event is right or wrong. So the point of view is the point of view given by the author is supported by the evidence or not. So there are relevant examples or not. So with the help of critical reading, so we are able to give our reflection on that reading. Then the step is analyzing. So at the analyzing stage, there are some points. So we should choose a question to guide our analysis. So always there is a question in our mind, so for which we are reviewing the literature. Then look at and examine the author's argument structure. We should focus the claims given in the reading. So statements that require support by evidence. So there may be some assumptions, the writer's underlying beliefs, opinions, principles, or inferences that connect evidence to the claims. So is there enough evidence for claims or not? So findings consistent with those of similar studies or not? So these are the methods of analyzing a piece of literature. Then the step is synthesizing literature. So we have our notes before us. So the notes were made with the help of many different literature pieces. So this is the stage of synthesizing. So synthesize means to get together the pieces of the literature review. So at this stage, so we have to bring these points before us. So the first point is, how does each reading relate to your topic and purpose? So then define your argument or thesis. So what is my argument or my thesis or my claim in my study? Identify major trends or patterns emerging from the readings. Reassemble your notes based on the results of readings using organizational aids such as post-its, flags. So post-it, you have seen some small size stickers of yellow colors normally. So we can use those stickers or flags, or nowadays we can use MS Word for this purpose. So we can make many files for different notes, or we can make different parts in a file, MS Word file. So we can take notes in MS Word file, or any other editing device on your mobile even, or on your tab. So create a detailed topic outline. So for writing the literature review, we have to make a detailed topic outline. So we have to distribute or divide our topic into small pieces. So there must be an outline. So in the outline we have many headings and subheadings, and we can write our literature review under those headings and subheadings. So in synthesizing literature, there are some other points. Note consistency of results from study to study, note discrepancies among studies, and provide possible explanations such as dates of studies, different methodologies. Note landmark studies and if replicated. So in any area or on any topic, you can find some landmark or some many important studies. So note how individual studies help illustrate or advance theoretical beliefs. Note gaps or areas needing more research. So the last point is very important. So with the help of literature review, you will be able to identify a gap to do your research, to start your work. So in this step, you will be able to write and identify gap. So here is an example of the topic outline. So look at this. This is a topic: psychological aspects of organ donation, individual and next of kin donation decisions. So the next portion is the outline. So starting from introduction, then the parts of the main body of the outline, and at the end there is a conclusion. So always we have to make an outline to write our literature review. Then what should be the organization pattern of literature review in our study or in our proposal? So we have to start with the broader topics, then the next is the subtopics, and then studies like yours. So the literature review looks like a funnel in its nature or in its presentation. Next one, how to organize studies. So if you are going to review the previous literature, like the studies like your study, so how can you organize those studies? So there are three methods. The first method is chronological. So you can organize your studies with the date of publication or with the trend in your science or in your area. Another kind of organization is thematic. So you can organize your studies theme by theme. And another method is methodological. So you can organize your studies by the type of methodology. For example, you can group all qualitative researches in a one topic, or group the quantitative approaches or quantitative methods in another group, and you can combine the mixed method studies in another group. So these three types are the organization styles of your studies. Then making links between studies means merely writing paragraph after paragraph is not a good practice in literature review. Sometimes we see the work of our students. So we see that they write one paragraph for each study, and they summarize the study in the form of review, and they write one paragraph, then another, then another. So it is not a good practice. So all of your literature review should be linked together, and there must be a logical sequence. So these are some words. For agreements, you may use similarly, likewise, also, again, and for disagreement, you may use however, on the other hand, conversely, nevertheless. So these are the words which you can use to make links between studies in your paragraphs. So actually all these slides are some tips for you. You can make a summary table of your literature review also. So such a table provides a quick overview that allows the reviewer to make sense of a large mass of information. The table could include columns with the headings such as author, type of study, sample, design, data collection approach, key findings, for example. Here you can see an example of the table. So in this table you can see some columns, and there are subdivisions also for studies. So many studies you can show in this table for the purpose of literature review. So bibliographical style you have to use for writing a literature review. So there are many bibliographical or these are called style manuals or publication manuals also. So it depends on the science or arts or social science in which you are working. So there are many styles: APA's, American Psychological Association, Thropian, Chicago, MLA, Harvard style, CSE. So you can find many online softwares. So these, some of them are free also to manage your citations. EndNote is very common, Mendeley is very common, Zotero is common. So you can use these softwares for managing your citations, managing your literature, and with the help of that management, you can write a literature review in a better way. Next one is the citation styles. You can see the examples. These are examples from APA. So there are other presentations regarding APA or other styles. So you can see the presentations on my YouTube channel. The channel name is Information, Education and Research. You can search this channel on YouTube. So you may find many other citation styles and other things related to literature or literature review. So information prominent citation. So look at the example. So give the information first and write the author's name in the last. Author prominent citation is if the author is more prominent or more important, then start your paragraph with the name of the author. So these are the examples. Reporting verbs you can use. We see the students' work, they always or mostly use the word state or said or something like that, but you can use many reporting words: argue, assert, assume, challenge, claim. So an author proved that, and an author proposed that, an author disputed with the other, so an author found that, maintained that. So you can use these words. So at the end we have brought for you some examples from the verb tenses you have to use in your literature review. So you can use the present tense in these examples: a statement about what the thesis, chapter or section does. This thesis presents. So this is the present indefinite tense. So look at the second example: a statement of a generally accepted scientific fact. There are 3 factors that control the concentration of aluminum in seawater. Here are other examples of present tense: a review of current research work or research work of immediate relevance to your study. So Schulze concludes that hydraulic, so this is again present indefinite tense. Comments, explanations and evaluative statements made by you when you are reviewing previous studies. Therefore, this sequential approach is impractical. It is again present tense. But in general, you used past tense to show the previous studies. Report the contents, findings or conclusions of past research. Haberfield showed that the velocity, Ellington 99 found that. So this is the example of past indefinite tense. You may use present perfect tense in some cases in citations where the focus is on the research area of several authors. Several studies have provided. So have provided means, so this is the example of present perfect tense. To generalize about the extent of the previous research, so many studies have been conducted. This is again present perfect tense. So this is the last slide. Here are some points. A good literature review is or must be or should be focused, concise, logical, developed, integrative and current. So these are the points from my side. If we have some time, so if there are any questions, so we can take some of the questions. So up to you, Dr. Sir. Up to you, Dr. Sir. It is up to you.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Saab. Really, it was a very amazing your lecture on literature review in research proposal. Our students, our MPhil scholars, PhD scholars, even our faculty members from Bahauddin Zakariya University, Multan and other universities, they are joining this lecture through Zoom and through live. And really, you guide us beautifully about the searching and finding the literature, how to evaluate the literature, how to check the source, because many of the misinformation nowadays happening day by day. And you guide us how to critically evaluate the thesis, how to check the source, and you guide us linking words and the reporting words. And definitely our students, our participants, I will share your YouTube channel link with them, and definitely our students, they will try their level best to add your valuable presentation in their upcoming research work, their thesis. So today we have two participants, and firstly I will call to the Abdul Rauf. Abdul Rauf, your mic is now open, and you can ask your question to Professor Dr. Khalid Mahmood.
Ji Abdul Rauf Saab. Ji Mr. Abdul Rauf. Ji please.
Can you please sir hear me?
Yes. It is clear.
Sir, thanks a lot for your precious time. I have a question regarding the sources of literature. You have mentioned that newspapers can be added for literature review, but it is said that newspapers are not a proper source for doing a literature review. Can you please explain it?
No. Which is not proper source?
Newspapers.
Newspaper. No. Actually, it depends on the information you are using in your literature review. It always depends. So if you have an authentic book written by an authentic or authoritative writer, so then this book is more important for your literature review. But sometime you have to use the information taken from newspapers, so there is no other authentic source. So in this case, newspaper is a part of literature and you can use it. For example, you want to use some information which have been published yesterday only. So the information which was created yesterday, you can't find an authentic book on that. So in this case, there is only one source, and that is the newspaper. So among the newspapers, you can be choosy among the newspapers. So for example, in Pakistan, though the Dawn is more important, Dawn is more authentic than the others. So if a news item appears in more than one newspapers, then you can go for the authentic, which is more important in your eyes or in your opinion. So newspaper is very much a piece of literature for the literature review. It always depends on the nature of the information which you are quoting. जी डॉक्टर साहब
So while choosing a newspaper for our research proposal,
जी
can we decide its nature according to our research? My question is like that the newspapers can be a proper source for doing the
yes, it can be. I have given you an example. If a piece of information was first time created yesterday, so there is no other source, no other authentic source to quote for that information. So if there is a website of a government institution, so the government institutions are always more important or more reliable information sources. So if a piece of information was created first time in the world yesterday, then the only source is a newspaper. So among the newspapers, you can find a more authentic newspaper among the newspapers.
Okay, sir, I got your point.
So it is a valid and it is a reliable source of information, and you can freely use it for the purpose of literature review. So there is no harm, there is no problem.
Thank you, sir. Afsha, your mic is open. Please ask your question to Professor Dr. Khalid Mahmood. And you can ask a question to our respected Professor Dr. Khalid Mahmood.
Yes, please.
Okay, another participant, Parvez, I just
Yes, Parvez. I'm looking at your chat box, and you can type a question in your chatting, no problem. I have opened the chat even.
I am converting him in panelist.
Okay.
Yes, Parvez, your mic is open. Please, you can ask your question.
Yes.
No.
Just use your mic, or you can use the chat box also.
Parvez can open his mic, sir.
Okay.
Parvez, open your mic and ask your question, please.
So there are some problems and some challenges of using online technology, Dr. Saab, you know it.
Hello.
Yes, Parvez, please.
Your mic is open, please.
Yes, please, Parvez.
Yes, sir. Assalamualaikum, sir.
Ji, walaikum salam, Parvez Saab.
Yeah, I'm from Jammu and Kashmir. I have a question regarding the literature.
Okay.
If there is no gap in previous research
Okay.
after rigorous study,
Mm-hmm.
so how can I do research on same topic?
Okay. So you see that you think that there is no gap.
Because
So I am laughing on this statement. So if you say that if you say that there is no gap, there is always a gap. There is always a gap. So the human being,
Yes,
the human beings, the
Yes.
human in this world,
But
they are working in all the areas of life but there is always a room, or there is always a need to enhance that research. So there is always a gap. There is always, for example, I will give you an example.
Yes, sir.
If you use an air conditioner in your room to make
Yes.
the air in your room cool. So the air conditioner we are using these days consume much of the energy, much of the electricity. Air conditioner are costly. Okay, air conditioner
Yes, sir.
air conditioner produces sound or noise in the room. Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes.
for the purpose of improving the air conditioner, we should invent, or we should improve the air conditioner which can consume a less of energy, which is cheaper than the air conditioner nowadays. So the air
Yes.
conditioner with the noise less or sound less. Okay, and
Yes.
there must be some other methods to cool our body, to make our body cool. So maybe in the future there may be a piece of chemical or piece of something which you can put in your fragrance or a perfume. So you put in the room, and your room will be cooler. Or there may be a medicine. You can take a medicine, एक गोली सुबह दोपहर शाम, and your body feels cool. So you
Yes.
don't need an air conditioner. So there is always a room for doing further research. Always. It is not possible in any area of life that there is no gap. So you can find a
Yes, sir.
gap. So but when you are able to find a gap, when you are able to find a gap, then when you read a lot of literature, means virtually everything on that particular topic, so automatically the gap comes into your mind. So you will see the gap.
Yes, sir.
So before
Yes,
reading
sir.
the literature, you cannot see the gap. So this is my answer.
But it is right. I understand your valuable guidance. But problem is that if there is already a lot of research has been done on the topic, so
Okay.
my supervisor told me that this topic has been done already previous scholars. So how
Normally.
can you read? Yes. How can you
Okay,
read
okay,
objectives?
okay.
Yes.
So in the word, normally the practice is that in those areas in which more research have been worked, more research is available. So in those areas there are more topics or more gaps. So in those areas
Yes, sir.
in which more research is available in the world, that research has more gaps. Okay. So I don't agree with your opinion, or with your supervisor's opinions that
Yes, sir.
many of the students have written on this topic and
Yes.
you cannot do anything. So actually it
Yes.
depends. It depends on your smartness. So how smartly or how vigorously you have reviewed the literature. So if you have a command on the literature, so you will
Yes,
find
sir.
many topics in your mind. You will find. So it
Yes.
all depends on the
So I
grasp,
have
on the level of grasp you have on the literature.
I told my supervisor that I can do parallel research on that topic that I have chosen to my research.
No,
Can I do?
it depends on the identification of the gap. So you can do a
Yes,
panel
sir.
research, you can do some other types of research. It depends on the gap. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you very
So
much.
you can relate the gap with your methodology.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
But this is not a problem.
Sir,
After reading the literature, after reviewing the literature, it will not be a problem for you. It will be easy
Thank
for
you.
you.
sir, thank you very much for your precious time. Really, it was a very amazing your lecture, and I'm confident our listener definitely they will improve their research by helping your presentation.
So now we have another guest speaker.
So thank you, Dr. Sahab. I beg leave from this webinar. So I was enjoying this webinar. So I have another meeting. So I beg leave. So doctor from Malaysia. So Assalamu alaikum. So see you again inshallah. So Dr. Kamran, thank you very much. So Dr. Imran Chaudhary. So thank you very much, sir. Allah Hafiz.
Really, Dr. Sahab, I'm very grateful and thank you very much for your time and precious time that you have given to our university. And really, Dr. Sahab, your lecture, this seminar was very excellent. So I have seen your presentation. Really, so that was a really thought-provoking, and that is very helping for our immediate, so simple researcher who wants to start the research. If I think he goes through this is the presentation, so he will learn a lot.
Sir, thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
See you again, sir. See you again. Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.